What is good, all you Windy City Fantastics, and what is poppin' Chi-Town? We are Windy City Fantasy. We're back at you again, talking Week 10 Stardom Situm, the acclaimed Locked and Loaded, and many more news, updates, who's in, who's out. We're here for you. I am your host, Steve, and you know what, Moose? Welcome back, bud.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, for you young heads who don't know, that was Welcome Back, Cotter, very old show. And the only reason why I know that is because back in the day there was about 5 channels on the TV at the time. Yes, 5. But for you old heads, you already know what that show is. So
I want to say, wasn't that Travolta's first stint?
it's one of Travolta's
Before
first
like the big break with
before
Saturday?
before he was doing more. He was doing more stage and screen than he was
Welcome back,
screen.
Mr. Cotter.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, we got a great show for you today. Just an FYI, all the outs will be listed on the ticker below us as soon as that jumps up. We got some questionables that are now announced that they're going to be active, such as TJ Hawkinson, Robert Tunyon. There was a few others who I had listed that are going to start. I have to go through my list here, but we'll update you with these players as they come across the wire. We got some great matchups this week in Week 10. We're approaching playoffs soon, so if you're still trying to vie for a playoff spot, you're in the right place. Ask these questions. Follow us on Instagram. Message us on the Facebook page. Join the Facebook group page. Email us at the show. Whatever you want to do, we're here to help you out. Moose, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling alive. I'm ready to watch some football. I'm ready to enjoy my Sunday. A little gloomy out here in Chicago, raining.
It's okay.
But football. It's football.
Yeah, it is. Monday nighter is the Vikings versus Bears. So as always, we'll dedicate the last couple minutes of the show towards a little Bears talk since you weren't here Thursday.
Excuse me.
You were sorely missed. But until then, Moose, what games are you excited to watch this week?
So we didn't pick our games for the week, but we do have the 4 games for this week, and the ones we narrowed it down are we'll just go in order with 1 through 4. So the first game is going to be Chargers Bills. Reason why I picked this
Chargers Dolphins.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Chargers Dolphins. The reason why I picked that is I'm very excited to see the rookies.
Our show watchdog is always watching and trying to correct us, so be careful what you say or do. I already
started off with one mistake for the day. But Chargers Dolphins, it's going to be exciting. Tua starting again. It's going to be the 2 rookies.
The big tuna.
A lot of people said coming to the draft that if Tua wasn't, but I'm going on Tuna. If he wasn't injured, he would have been the number 1 pick. I believe he went slightly under Herbert. So this is going to be very exciting.
And that was only due to the dislocated hip that he had suffered with Alabama. So otherwise, he would have went higher in draft boards.
Yeah, people thought that it would have been 1 to Burrow or Tua. So
had Tua been able to finish the entire season, I think it would have looked different. It probably could have been a very contested race for the Heisman Trophy between Burrow and Tua.
Yeah,
that's how good he was. But again, no combine. No OTAs. There was a lot to be unseen. He spent a lot of time working with the offensive coordinator and with Fitzmagic on trying to learn as much as he can. First game was against the Rams. It was pretty rough going for him. Second game against Arizona, it was a lot better, but still making rookie mistakes. Again, relying on the defense.
Yeah.
We talked about it on Thursday when you weren't here that the Dolphins defense is a nice streaming option, but they're more better suited for fantasy than they are in real football. As they're only ranked 23rd in the NFL in football terms.
Yeah. I mean, the Dolphins are trending in the right direction. I mean, obviously they were in rebuild mode for the last 2 years, but I mean, that's why I chose this game. I think it's going to be exciting. I think Herbert adds a lot of life to that Chargers offense, to that Chargers team, and I think the Dolphins they're just really fun to watch the last 2 years because they're trying to prove something. They're trying to prove that they're better than what they are, not always finishing at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with the game. I think it's going to be really fun, but I'm choosing the Chargers to win this one.
You know what? I'm with you on this one. I'm going to have to go Chargers all the way. I mean, listen, The Chargers just played Justin Jackson on IR due to a ankle injury. Or I'm sorry, it was a knee injury.
Well,
Josh Kelly still hasn't proven anything. They upgraded Tremaine Pope. And after Kalen Ballage came into the game last week and actually showed a spark of hope for until Eckler comes back, they demoted him back down to the practice squad only to re-promote him. I think they were just playing around with roster moves there.
So actually what happened was Justin Jackson, they were monitoring his knee. So they were treating him like he's going to play, but we're going to give him limited snaps, limited practice, and actually got worse. That's why they moved Ballage down, because it was just supposed to be first a trial run for him. And then with everything that went down, now it's like, oh, crap, we need more running backs because we're down so many people. So they brought back Ballage, which I believe Ballage is going to have the better game. If you're looking for very, very deep, trying to start somebody,
the Bellagio,
pick him up, start him. I mean,
hedge your bets at the Bellagio.
Yeah, I mean that's like, guys, like, please, like, that's like really deep leagues, very desperate moves.
Yeah. All right, so we'll have when LA chimes back in. He's got some undercover producing to be done.
Oh,
there you are, bud. What you got in this game? Chargers.
Every time we all go 3. Just saying.
All right. What do you got? What's next on the docket?
Hello, Jay. I'm glad to be back as well. Next on our list, I'm going with the Seahawks and the Rams.
Ooh.
I kind of feel we have a question. Is Teddy still in play this week over Stafford? Christian McCaffrey ruled out, and also Galladay. Yeah, I actually, in one of my leagues, I had the opportunity to pick up both guys, and I'm going with Teddy just because I like the wide receiving core. And with McCaffrey out, I feel that he's gonna. They're going up against a rivalry in the Bucs and a rival, and the Bucs' run defense. I think they're going to be airing it out a lot. I think Teddy has a good game this week.
I talked about him on Thursday. I really like Teddy this week, and I had stated that, listen, even though if you look back in week 2 when they played Tampa Bay, the final fantasy points for him do not reflect on how well he played. Mm-hmm. He threw over 300 yards, 0 touchdowns. He had 1 turnover, but this is a Bucs defense that just got torched by the Saints. They do give up a lot of passing yards. They're going to come back and try to prove this is in Carolina. This is not in Tampa Bay. And right now, the Bucs spent 7 hours trying to leave Tampa to get to Carolina for this 1 p.m. Eastern start. And so I'm pretty sure they're frustrated. They're exhausted. This may be a good advantage point for Teddy and company. Mike Davis is no slouch. Granted, CMC brings a lot to the table. And what he did against the Chiefs last week was amazing. So I still believe in Teddy.
Yeah. And I mean, once again, if your decision is to choose Teddy or Stafford, I will go with Teddy. If Teddy is out and your only decision to go with Stafford, obviously that's the move you have to make. But I think there's better options. Like I think Kirk Cousins this week might do pretty well. Alex Smith is starting for Washington. They're going up against the Detroit Lions. Stafford's going against Washington. So, but if I had to choose, I'll go Teddy. And to answer Jay, Teddy or Breeze, I would definitely go with Breeze.
Yeah. I mean, he's got everyone back. He's got Emmanuel. He's got Mike Thomas. He's got Kamara. He's got everyone he needs. The San Francisco's defense is completely decimated, just like the offensive side. They're struggling.
That's their strongest point this season. But, I mean, the defense could only hold on for so long. And
right.
The Bears, our defense can only hold on for so long before you break.
Yeah. Well, in 49ers defense, they're decimated by injury, where the Bears are decimated by idiocy from the management.
We'll get to the Bears later.
We don't need to be.
But so I got the Seahawks, the Rams. I believe this is for the division. I think Cardinals are sneaking in, but right now this is, I think, for the division. I think Seattle's on a 2-game lose streak. They lost some bad ones. This, I think, is going to be a bounce back game for them.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are going to play to prove that they're still relevant.
Yeah.
But I have the Seahawks winning, and I have it because they have to win.
Okay. So since you haven't been with us for the past couple of shows, I just want to throw this question out there because there could be a lot of fantasy owners who are trying to determine whether or not to start one of these 2 running backs, considering that Carson and Hyde are both out this week. Do you like Travis Homer or do you like DJ Dallas this week against the Rams? If you had to start one.
Dallas. Dallas has slowly been getting more of the snaps and getting more of the confidence out of the coaching staff. I know he's the rookie, but Homer really hasn't done anything. And just to keep a lookout, they did sign Bo Scavery or whatever.
Right.
Remember the guy from the Detroit Lions?
Bo Scandrick.
Scandrick, yeah. They signed him to the practice squad. They didn't say if they elevated him or
Yeah.
not, but
Skip Bo. We'll call him Skip Bo.
yeah, just like look out for that. But I would go with Dallas.
All right. You know what? And then I'm gonna take Seattle in this one too. It's for the division. It's very heated. I believe that this will be a very good game, but I think unlike the Bills where they got kind of surprised,
Yeah,
they're more prepared because they see them twice a year.
like if the run game doesn't work, I would rather have Wilson and company more than Goff and company.
Yes. All right. What about you, Elliot?
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Unlimited.
We're all going.
All right. Jay's got a question: Murray or Josh Allen? I mean, I already told you I'm not going to answer this one for you, bud, because you're playing me this week. So,
well, I guess we have to, because that's actually my third matchup for this week is Bills or Cards. And to be honest, I think Bills are the hottest team right now, and I'm going with the Bills, and I'm riding with Josh Allen.
mm,
I really like what they're doing. I think their run game has improved with the rookie coming back. His name is
Zach Moss.
Moss, yes, with Moss coming back.
Yeah.
Singletary is finding his groove, whether it's in the run or through the air. But I mean, the Diggs pickup is paying tremendous upside for them.
Oh, yeah.
So far, this trade looks to be 100% a Bills' favor.
Yes, absolutely. I will say this, though, that you have two teams who one is still trying to develop their defense. The other one had an established defense but has been struggling this season.
Yeah.
And now with the news that Josh Norman is out due to COVID, so that's one less veteran piece for the team.
To me, that doesn't...
I'm just saying that given the Buffalo Bills struggles, they still give up a lot of points.
Yeah.
Both you have two mobile quarterbacks. You both have elite wide receivers on each end. And then with the possibility that Drake is supposed to be a go today, they'll ease him in because of the ankle injury. They don't want to risk re-injuring it, but you still have Chase Edmonds. So this team is just about even. And you know that Arizona is going to be feeling that like they needed that. They should have won last week against Miami. So they're going to try to win this week. I'm going to go Cardinals this week.
Yeah, see,
I love Josh Allen. I love my Bills too. But
yeah, so for me, I'm looking at it as the Cardinals' success all depends on Murray.
yes,
To me, it's if Allen's having a bad day, that running and that defense will pick him up. Can the Cardinals really say if the Bills contain Murray, if the Bills get pressure on Murray, if the wide receivers can't get open for Murray, do they succeed? That's the biggest question. You saw it the last few weeks. You saw in the Cardinals games. Murray had to play phenomenal to get these wins.
and every week has been playing phenomenal.
Right, and he has to play phenomenal to keep the Cardinals in. I'm not saying that the Cardinals are a bad team, but once again, they're like the Dolphins. They're like fun to watch.
Yeah.
They're young. They're in rebuilding mode. They've been for 2 years. And now you're starting to see that coaching staff, the philosophy, the mentality, the picks, the right pieces to go with what. I still think they're about a year away from being that, like, I'm going to compete for the division. It's just fun to see them. And I just think that the Bills have more veterancy, more knowledge,
More seasoned.
right?
Yeah.
Which that's where I'm going with them.
So, Jay, the reason why the Bills in Arizona aren't the game of the week is because Joe Buck and Troy Aikman don't want to commentate for this one, so they're not going to call it the game of the week. Plus, neither team are named the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, all right, what about your third matchup?
Well, we didn't get Elliott's answer.
Oh, yeah, no, we didn't. Oh, because he's muted.
I got you.
So we'll see if he can't just message us.
All right, we'll go back. Well, the last game was the Bears and Vikings, so we'll just stay to that. For later. We'll save for later.
The third game. Oh, so we already did. We did. We did. Okay,
Yep.
You're right. All right, and with that being said, here it comes. Our acclaimed Locked and Loaded.
You could ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
All right, all you prison fleas, you feel lucky. Do you feel like you got the right picks this week? You think you need some picks? We're here to help. Moose, you've been gone for 2 shows now, so I'm going to have you set this up right here and start us off, and you pick the position.
I got you. You know what? I'm just gonna go down the list. I'm gonna go QB.
All right.
And the QB that I'm picking for this week is Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
I'm picking Lamar Jackson, and Elliot's back. Hello, Elliot. We're going with Lamar Jackson. He's going up against the Patriots. I feel that they're trying to get into a groove. He's been kind of finding his groove, and I feel that the Patriots is going to be kind of like a statement for him. I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to ball. I think he's going to run the way we know Lamar's going to run, and I think they're going to be able to pass on the Patriots. The Patriots are not the Patriots of old.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're in rebuilding mode. I think everybody knows it, and I just feel Lamar's going to keep this this train going. And I could see 25, close to 30 fantasy points again this week on the ground. Through the air.
That's where you're going to see it. You're going to see it more on the ground than anything. He's not going to bring it through the air. So, and because of that, there's a lot of personnel on the Ravens who are suffering because of this.
Yep.
Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown, Des Bryant's debut, Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards has struggled last week, and J.K. Dobbins has been splitting carries, but they've been ineffective. But they happen to score a touchdown. The Gus scores a touchdown. Everything is going through Lamar. So this is Cam 2.0 in 2020. Because he's not finding, like, it's not that he doesn't have time in the pocket. He's already getting happy feet and he's ready to run. So he's got his check 1, his check 2. All right, they're covered. I'm just booking it. I'm not waiting for the play to develop. I'm just going, because he's still putting up fantasy points for your team. It's just more on the ground than you are getting in the air. And so we're starting to get questions of, like, what do you do with Mark Andrews now? Well, you got to hang on to him. You got to weather through the storm. What do I do with Marquise Brown? Is he droppable now? Because at this point right now, he's only had 1 game over 10 fantasy points. Lamar's not doing it in the air. He's only helping himself out. So I like the pick for locked and loaded, but definitely it's only going to work in his advantage. And he's definitely going to be doing his thing to make that blanket statement against the Patriots.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that. I feel if the run game is working, that's what they're going to do for the game. We can't be mad about that.
Right, but as fantasy analysts, when people are asking questions, what do you do with personnel like Andrews and Brown the running game is working? Right,
but Brown, so he had his worst game was 3 points. That was week 3 against Kansas City. So if you're going back the last 4 games, it's 6.8, 7.3, 0, 9.7. Against Cincinnati and Washington, he had 19 and 12. So he's bursting when he needs to. The thing you don't like about Brown is the inconsistency, which I think that's where you get Andrews with. Andrews will get the 5 for 5 for 40 yards. They just don't get the touchdowns because it's whoever is open.
Well, he hasn't scored a touchdown since week 5.
Right.
So his last 3 games has been 3 points, 4 points, 4 points. You get the inefficiency, but that's what I mean. Like, when it comes down to it, what do you really do with players like this? Like, you love being a Lamar owner, but if you're the recipient of any of these other guys, then listen, Mark Andrews is part of your top 5 or top 3 of your rankings for this year as tight ends.
Yeah.
And this is totally not going in the way of how we are viewing these tight ends.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you drafted Lamar because of the running.
Right.
You didn't draft it for the passing. The passing is the bonus.
Right, but you drafted Mark Andrews because he always went to Mark Andrews.
Right, the safety blanket.
Right, but he's not really doing that.
Waller was a top 5. He's off and on. The only people that are really consistent is Kelsey. And Kittle is injured, so you can't even say anything about him.
All right.
Who do you got?
For me? Okay. So we have this quarterback who's currently...
Whoa. Go, Pack, go.
Yeah, we're not going to... I don't want to acknowledge... Why'd you even acknowledge that?
We have to.
No, we don't.
It's for the people. No. We're Bears fan, but we're for the people.
Okay. Listen. So we have this quarterback who is currently ranked 16th among qualified starters, right?
Cool.
He's only averaging 17 fantasy points per game, right?
Gotcha.
He's been a top 5 quarterback only once this season and twice a top 10 quarterback this season.
Okay.
He's averaging 268 passing yards per game with barely 2 touchdowns per game thrown. Who am I talking about?
Do I know him?
Yes. This isn't 20 questions. Does he have a mustache? Does he have long hair?
I don't know. Top 10 finish. Ben Roethlisberger.
No. Jared Goff.
Oh, it's close.
Now, all right. Now the bad news. Wait, I mean good news. Wait, here we go. Remember last week, you might have been watching, but I know Elliot remembers this last week when I talked up Josh Allen on how bad the Seattle defense is and that they're the second in the league for giving up the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm right back at this again because the defense is still coughing up a crazy 26.7 fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. My flag on this one is that Jared Goff can at least put up 23 to that 26 fantasy points today.
Okay.
And I don't know if we'll have Elliot's pick or not. Let's see here. The only Raven you could play in fantasy is Lamar. That's it. Yeah, already discussed that, Mike. Thank you. And then Jay asked, starting flex Slayton or Beasley? And then we'll get to Elliot's pick.
I like Beasley. Beasley against the Cardinals. I think that's a solid matchup this week. I would start Beasley over Slayton.
So I like that too. I'm going to go favor on the Slayton side because he's still being targeted.
I don't know what the hell we're doing. So
QBs, what QB are you?
QBs.
I didn't even get my last two picks.
Okay, so
don't worry about it. Who's taken already?
Lamar Jackson and
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. Okay, so to go with my pick earlier, I'm going with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert. Miami gives up 18 points per game to QBs. His last 3 games, he had a completion percentage of 68, 66, 67, and 62. In those 3 games, he threw for 2, 3, and 3 touchdowns with 2 interceptions for 62 interception percentage. And he totaled close to 1,000 yards in those 3 games. His passer rating away from home is 112.9. He's 97.4 in November, and he's 100.5 versus the AFC.
And this is why he's running for a candidate for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, no, I had him on my short list. If somebody picked Lamar, Herbert was like number 3 on my list. I really like the matchup too. I like the matchup.
And it's a really good matchup as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my lock for QBs.
And so the other 2 games, since we have you for right now,
Bills or Cardinals.
Bills. That's when I got cut off. I was trying to type in.
Yeah, and then we're saving the Vikings Bears for later. At the
other one was Seattle and LA.
Which we already got the Birds.
Oh yeah.
Right, yeah.
He got his man, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, Mr. Unlimited.
All right, so moving on, we're going to halfbacks, and I'm so happy. I don't know why. I was so happy this week when I was able to pick, and I'm so happy I got to go first because I have a feeling you guys might have him or you guys were thinking about him, but I'm going with Miles Sanders. He said he's at 100% and he cannot wait to get onto the field, and he's going up against the Giants this week. The Giants. So poor Eagles fans had to suffer for weeks without any talent, and here comes back Miles Sanders, fully loaded, ready to go against the Giants. I will take that all day. All day. Did I steal your pick?
No, you did not.
Yeah,
I saw Elliot.
Yeah, you did. Well, he was on my short list. So yeah, he was definitely. It was either him or somebody else. So I'm just gonna have to go with the other guy who gets picked right now.
I will tell you this though, Moose, that 2 things. I keep saying it. I know it's an NFC East matchup, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's been ringing true is the Giants defense is middle of the pack out of 31 NFL teams. They're dead smack in the middle against the run, against the pass. We're talking good turnovers. They've scored at least 2 defensive touchdowns in the past 5 weeks. They've limited quarterbacks to a small amount, although like Wentz did have a big game against them a few weeks ago. I do like a lot of Eagles players, especially the Miles Sanders pick. Definitely, he's coming off this injury. He's going to want to hit the ground running really hard and really fast. And
Like he's going to take the pressure off of Wentz, which I think is going to make that offense better.
Yeah.
Like being able to carry the ball like 20 times, give me that. Like getting 6-7 catches out of the backfield all day. Like this is what he's made for. And I think like, sure, they're middle of the pack. Are they going to be like a solid defense? Sure. Middle of the pack, I'll say solid defense. However, like you could only go so far.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think they're going to be double covering Sanders, you know, like because that leaves everybody else open.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So for me,
You took his hand.
it is Nick Chubbs. No, you did not take his hand. It's the return of the Chubbs. The Mac is back. Look, prior to his injury in week 4 against Dallas, and right after the stinker in Baltimore, Chubbs went on a feast and rampage, gobbling. Get it? Little Thanksgiving reference. Gobbling up a solid 5.88 yards per carry,
You're reaching,
averaging 16.6 fantasy points per game. And after week 5, Moose, he's one tick below the top 15 running backs in the league. And we're in week 10.
Yeah.
So he's been out almost 6 weeks. And he's still within like the top 15 range of running backs.
I mean, that just proves how crappy the season
Absolutely. And now he's back and facing a Houston defense that gives up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing running backs of no less than 25.5 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Now, they may ease him in the beginning of the game, so you might get a little frustrated because, like, Hunt's still going to be able to have a good game as well.
For sure.
But it won't take long before they loose the reins and let this boy buck.
Yep.
I mean, he's going to buck wild and just, like, rain hell on Houston's defense. And if you were at all scared to play him this week coming off of IR, you know, I wouldn't be unless you have good, solid options to where you want to do a wait and see mode.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, like I'm playing him this week and I have all the confidence in the world that he's going to go full Hamburglar.
Yeah, no, I like the pick.
So now my first pick is, well, not really. Now that one of my top picks is gone, I got 2 to choose from, and I think I'm gonna go with, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna go with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones from Green Bay. Jacksonville's giving up 21 points per game to running backs. You know, it looks like a good matchup for the run game for Green Bay. And his last 3 games, he's had 5 receptions, 3 receptions, and 5 receptions. So that's definitely an added bonus when it comes to Aaron Jones in the matchup today.
Yeah, I mean Packers, Jags. That's feasting. That's gonna be feasting for the Packs.
Yeah.
Like I could see Aaron Jones clearing 20 fantasy points easily, maybe closing in on 30.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna leave and go back to my computer.
All right.
All right. Well, LA takes care of some technical difficulties on his end. We are still going to be right.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong? You're just a little hustle bustling behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm switching over to.
Well, all right.
All right, my man. Then we're gonna run wild with this show. We'll try not to crash and burn this place.
All right, let's move on to then the wide receivers. And once again, I was super happy to pick this. I really like this guy. I really feel last year he kind of got like shunned. This year's a prove it for him. But Juju Smith-Schuster,
Okay.
going up against the Bengals. I mean, the last 2 weeks he's been averaging close to 9 to 10 targets, 7 receptions. The Bengals, Big Ben's healthy. There was that little scare last week with the knee, with the corona.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just like it. I like the matchup. I feel
in a world of 2020,
yeah,
where everything has gone to the toilet. Mason Rudolph could have been your quarterback throwing to,
like,
and then it would be like,
yeah. But here's like the crazy part. Do you know that they had John Ross? You remember John Ross?
Yeah,
the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Do you know that he was playing corner this week? He was playing corner because they have 4 corners out. They have 2 healthy corners, and their backup safeties are playing corners. That they had John Ross playing corner, and he injured his foot out 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh!
Like that's how crazy 2020 is. So I think Juju feasts. If he's not going to feast, I could see him getting 10 targets again, like 7 to 8 catches, 9 catches. Hopefully a perfect game for you,
Yeah.
close to 100 yards, maybe a touchdown. I just feel he's going to have a good game, a game that we know he could have against the Bengals.
Okay. And for me, it's going to be Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, okay.
So this little unsexy pick is more sexy than you think, Moose.
Oh, yeah.
As Aguilar, despite only having 17 catches for the year, is leading the league in yards per reception and has scored 5 touchdowns this year, 4 in the last 5 games. The Broncos D is 14th against opposing wide receivers to the tune of 25.7 fantasy points per game allowed.
Yeah.
This is another West Coast divisional matchup. This is delicious. This is juicy. Has like a fun time because this is in Las Vegas. This isn't dealing with Denver's weather and snowing and all this craziness. They're in the Las Vegas Strip area. It's all hot. It's steamy. It's just, what car's going to show up, and it's going to be a very big game for Jacobs, Waller, but I feel like Aguilar has a really good game. Like the defense may scheme to try to slow down Jacobs, but they're not going to be able to slow down Waller, the baller, or Aguilar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope he does also, Jay. I hope I'm right about the Chubs. All right. And then we're going to get into tight ends, Moose. Last but not least. Yeah, he's going to be out for a minute. We'll get his when he comes back on.
Tight ends. I'm going with Austin Hooper against the Texans. He's back from injury. Before he got injured, he was getting targeted 9-8 times by Mayfield. Beckham's gone. They only have Landry there. Njoku's not proving to do anything.
Yeah.
I think Chubb's coming back is going to help that offense running the ball. Hunt's still going to get the receptions. Maybe Chubb's gets a couple catches. But, down the middle, the Texans aren't good at getting the tight end. Their free safeties or their safeties, let me say, aren't that speedy, aren't that good at covering. And I could see Austin Hooper close to maybe 100 yards, maybe sneaks in a touchdown.
Okay.
But definitely Hooper's one of those sleepy picks.
All right.
Who did I miss?
Let's get your wide receiver, and then we'll have you do a tight end.
Who was picked?
Oh, Juju
and Aguilar.
Oh, perfect. I agree with Jay. I'm going with Scary Terry.
There you go.
Oh boy,
Scary Terry. Detroit gives up 20. Look, Detroit gives up 22. He gives up 22 points per game to wide receivers, and for the last 3 games, he's been averaging 7 catches a game. So take that information.
Yeah.
All right, I do have a question for you, Elliot. Do you think Alex Smith being the quarterback because Allen got injured is going to affect Terry, or do you think having Smith in over Allen is better for Terry?
I think it might be better. I haven't really watched too many Washington games, but I do know Alex Smith is a more accurate quarterback, and he, even though his criticisms in KC were that he didn't throw the deep ball his last year and a half before he got hurt, he was really effective throwing the deep ball. So,
yeah.
And the other thing is every quarterback that has played so far for the Washington professional football team, Haskins, Kyle Allen, and now Alex Smith, they all recognize who the number 1 wide receiver on the team is, and they always make it a point to target them at least 5+ times during the game.
Yeah, I was very close to going with Logan Thomas as my tight end this week.
Yeah, because Detroit is susceptible to tight ends as well.
That's
and
I think Terry's a great pickup.
But the same goes for Washington with Hawkinson.
Yeah.
So Hawkinson's a great option to play this week.
And then I went with Austin Hooper for tight end.
All right, you give me a second on the tight ends. You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna go with Gronk.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Gronk. I think, Carolina. Tom Brady is thinking about, he obviously is gonna want to have a better showing than he had last week. Tom Brady threw for 2-3 interceptions last week.
He looked old.
And Carolina,
please showed his age.
Carolina is not the same type of team as New Orleans, so I think that Gronk Gronk is good for at least one touchdown and maybe 50 to 60 yards.
Okay. Solid guys. I'm actually happy that you guys did not pick this guy from me. But you know what? You guys know what time it is?
It's peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly.
It's peanut butter dwelly time, as Ross Dwelly is going up against a Saints defense that is. I had it right here.
No.
I had it right there. All right. They're ranked 10th and giving up the most points to tight ends. All right. And even in a blowout, right? Because the Saints will blow out the Niners. There is junk time. And this is a junkatronic game with in drunk we trust. Okay. So look at last week when they lost spectacularly to Green Bay, who shined right there? Richie James, to the tune of 182 yards and a touchdown. All right. In junk time. Nick Mullins is a serviceable NFL quarterback. All right. Put all those things together. This team is decimated by injuries alone, not by management, Bears, but by injuries. And regardless, last week, Dwelly caught all 3 of his targets for 52 yards, finishing his night with 8.2 fantasy points. He did it against the 4th best defense against tight ends, Moose.
Okay.
So you do this against the 4th best, and now you're going up against the 10th worst.
Okay.
And in junk time, they're going to find ways to generate yardage in place to move the chains, and they're going to find Dwelly.
Do you think Jordan Reed coming back healthy is going to take away from Ross Dwelly?
No, I don't think so, because the 2 plays in, he's just going to get re-injured.
Okay.
I mean, let's be honest. Every time he comes onto the field, he cannot sustain verticality for the entire game.
Okay.
Am I wrong on that?
No. I mean, he's made out of glass.
Right. He's the new Mr. Glass.
Yeah.
From Broken. So, Broken? Wait, am I thinking the right movie? Was it? Forget it. I lost it.
Oh man, I totally forgot about it.
Unbreakable.
Great movie. Yes.
Yeah.
That one too.
Yeah. So, anyways, if you're looking for streaming tight ends, I really like Ross Dwelly this week. As cheesy as my little drops have been today, I had fun with them.
You're feeling it.
Right, I'm feeling it. It's good. It's good Sunday feels. And as always, let's see here.
Elliot, who did you?
No, he picked Gronk.
Oh yes, I forgot.
So we got all that out of the way. We got a couple minutes left, boys. Let's wrap it up with some Bears. I want to bring up one bit of news, though. Did you guys see that Minnesota released their offensive lineman, Pat Eflin?
Yes, I heard that. Go get him. He can play guard and center.
So he had that astute trophy from when he was at Ohio State. They played him as center. He'd been dealing with a lot of injuries. Now they drafted they got that Ezra Cleveland to replace him, and then they cut him. I think because the Bears are in they can't do any worse. He's off IR now. He's healthy, and it was a hand injury. So
yeah, I don't.
Look, if it's one thing that Ryan Pace is good at is picking other people's scraps.
Well, let's hope that they get him. But I mean,
did you know we had an offensive coordinator this entire season?
Yeah.
Bill Lazor?
Yeah.
Man, you could have fooled me.
Yeah, but Yankee took.
Don't act like you're fooled because the playbook's going to look exactly the same.
Yeah. The only difference is going to be somebody else, and then it's going to be like, well, so did Lazor do better than Nagy?
Hey, we're going to call this ISO play. We've always been calling it ISO play, but now Bill Lazor's calling it.
Like, they're going to call the same plays, but we're going to execute it because Minnesota's worse, and then they're going to be like, wow, look how good the Bears are with Lazor. Like, what? No, man, they're still running the same plays.
Yeah, I think the only reason why is that public pressure got to him, and on top of that, Lazor was one of the OCs that was successful with our stupid quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's why the move
Sack
was
machine.
made. I think that's why the move was made. I think it was to be like, all right, Foles, relax, talk to this guy. Nagy will come in when he needs to. I think that's what Nagy is a great preparer for the games. But when it comes to the game, he should just manage the game. He should just be like, hey, I've been noticing this. we're going to go this direction. But let the coordinators do what the coordinators do.
Nagy has shown that he can script a gameplay for somebody for up to 15 plays. I mean, when Mitch looked great in the beginning of the games, because the first 15 plays were so scripted that you'd have to be ridiculously stupid not to understand what they were for and then completely botch the plays.
Yeah.
But he never did. But then afterwards, his game management was way off.
Because he's trying to do too much. That's the Bears. The Bears head coaches, that's always the problem. The only coach that I know that did anything remotely similar to what Bill Belichick does, where he just manages the game, was Smith. He let the offense do what the offense did. He let the defense do what the defense did. He only chimed in when he needed to. But yet we didn't like him because he wasn't fiery enough and he wasn't blah, blah, blah.
What, Lovie Smith?
Yeah.
Well, there was that season where he decided to call plays himself, and that one didn't
But
go so well.
He only played defense. He never did the offense.
I completely blacked out the 13-14 season.
Yeah.
Mark Trestman.
Well, he didn't get fired with 10 wins, so...
Right, that's what I'm saying. You know,
now
like,
looking to make it happen in Illinois.
I don't think the writing's on the wall for Nagy. I think the Bears and the city still like Nagy too much. I think if anybody goes first, it's going to be Pace.
Okay, as long as we don't do what we did to the last GM and hold on to him for freaking decades without getting rid of him, you know?
Angelo?
So here's my thing with Nagy. Nagy has John Paxson power. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You think so? It's got John
Oh
Paxson
yeah,
power
yeah.
like that?
No, Nagy's gonna be here. He's gonna get at least another quarterback and another GM.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to be.
Then that makes him here for at least a decade.
I think it's going to be like the Fisher effect. Remember Fisher in Tennessee?
I don't need an entire 8-8 like 10-year career.
Well, no, that's what it is. That's what it's going to be.
No,
Like
then we don't need that.
It's going to be like middle.
No, I don't think it's gonna be a whole entire. I mean, like obviously he told the Bears he wanted the Bears job, so he told them that he can use Mitch. When he was in KC, he said Mitch wasn't the third best quarterback. He was the quarterback that was the most of a project.
Right.
And yet he still came over here and took the job, and I wouldn't blame him. There's only 32 of those jobs, so there's that. He hasn't had his own quarterback. You can count Nick Foles, but Nick Foles isn't someone it's not someone that he got in the draft that he can develop and build. So he hasn't got that. He doesn't really have any of his players, with the exception of David. Well, I don't even know if David Montgomery was somebody that he wanted either, but he was a younger, more pass-catching Jordan Howard, which I don't understand why they got rid of Jordan Howard, because Jordan Howard's a better blocker, but that's neither here nor there. So he's still gonna get a chance. What happens? What needs to happen is Pace needs to figure out how to draft on offense. He can draft the crap out of a defense, but he can't do anything. I mean, like he's made. What was it, Kevin Williams?
Kevin
guys,
White.
Kevin White, yeah, the guys he's drafted. Kevin White, he drafted.
No, please, let's not.
Mitch, he drafted. The offensive lineman guys that he's drafted have all either been projects or out of the league. Like, I get it. The guy knows defenses, and he was there when the Saints had a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't build that offense. So
I totally agree. I think it's this year should just pretty much be revamp the O-line with like one or two key free agents, high rookies, and then go get a quarterback that he's happy with, that Nagy wants, that he's like, I could coach, that he knows my system, and then let's move on from there, and then just pick up wherever we need. We need, a backup here, somebody athletic.
I feel like we can talk for an hour about the inefficiencies of everybody on this team, and just go back and forth of what should have and what can't be. But what's important, though, and I agree, Jay, you can't have people that know how to block on the Bears. God forbid, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, we got to pick a winner for this game.
Yeah, I'm going with Bears. I think we snapped the losing streak.
Okay.
I think we have enough to where we hold their offense. Like, you stop Cook and we pressure Cousins, I think our offense is going to do just enough to get by. I think with Montgomery out, we're not going to be playing stupid. I think we're going to be conservative on the run, and we're just going to do everything to hold possession.
Wait, we haven't been conservative on the run?
No.
What?
Yeah.
No.
We run the ball one time and we get 1 yard, or then we run the ball and get a negative yard, and then we abandon the run.
You sure that's not conservative?
No, conservative, I think it's going to be like run, pass, run, pass, run, pass.
That's more of a balanced.
Well, yeah, but
It's not really conservative. Conservative meaning like you're holding. You're
No,
holding back.
yeah, you're holding back. With
You're
this
holding
guy,
back.
We're throwing the ball even if there's nobody open.
Well, yeah, I just
Case
think
in
we're
point,
going to
Mitch.
have
Like,
possession,
we've been super conservative.
like hold possession, drive down the field, take a field goal when need to, maybe score a touchdown. But I think our defense is going to stop Vikings. Like, we have to stop Cook. He's the number 1 running back in the league.
Right.
We have to stop him.
Like we stopped Henry. But the
Right.
problem is that we didn't move jack shit
Exactly.
when we had the ball.
But Tennessee's defense, I think, is better than the Vikings' defense. Vikings lost a lot of key free agents, a lot of injuries.
Could have fooled you this past Thursday against the Colts, though.
Who, the Titans?
Yeah.
Once again, Thursday night against a rival. I mean, like Monday night against the Vikings. Like that's it's going to be beautiful. But yes, I'm going with the Bears.
I'm going with the Tanksonville effect and hoping that for the rest of the season we can actually get a high enough draft pick to where we can actually get an offensive lineman who is worth keeping.
So you're going with
And
the
I'm going
Vikings.
with the Vikings because as much as they're going to want to stop Dalvin Cook and they are going to slow him down, I feel that because you have Justin Jefferson and Am Thielen there, and the Bears middle line are their linebackers are a little weak against tight ends, so you may see a little love go Kyle Rudolph way, but they will definitely have pressure. They will be occupied with trying to slow down Mack and Akeem Hicks, and they will have issues. This will be a tight game, but I think the Vikings are going to squeak out unless by whatever miracle, the same plays like you talked about, Moose, but because Bill Lazor's calling these plays now, not Nagy, that they actually move Nagy, that they actually moved this the damn ball and actually makes some production out of it.
Bears.
All right.
Going Bears.
Well,
Minnesota has a really bad defense. Hopefully we can score 17 to 20 points.
Boo
Not
you,
in
Jay.
showtime.
Yeah, I hope so too. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today, guys. I want to thank everybody for watching, for all the questions. Moose, welcome back again, bud. You were greatly missed. Elliot was crying last Thursday of how much he missed you. Your absence is definitely
The tears were rolling down my back.
all right. So from all of us here at Windy City Fantasy, myself, Moose, Elliot, stay frosty, Chicago. Have a beautiful Sunday.
Have a good one,
See
everyone.
ya. Go Bears.
Go Bears.